come to terms with this. What has Bola Tinubu done? Bola Tinubu has come with very serious reforms, that will take the country away from, the situation in which it had been undergoing for the past 8 to 10 years. I will say it here on the public television. This is the truth. This government has not been able to articulate this position, but those of us who are watching from the outside, we can see it. As of the time that the Bola Tinubu administration was coming into power, the country was finished, was socially, economically finished. We were spending 98% of our revenue, 98 cents on every dollar was being used to, for debt servicing. We were subsidizing fuel, we were subsidizing power, we were subsidizing virtually everything. There was there was very severe and serious arbitrage in the foreign exchange market. Now, so what did the Buhari administration do? They just went ahead and printed and continued to print money until they printed up to 30 trillion. So Nigerians did not feel it because it was, the money was still being available, although it was not backed by anything. There are a few countries that have done this in the past. So it's not a matter of Nigeria is rich. Venezuela is extremely, one of the largest reservoirs of crude oil in the world. The poverty in Venezuela is worse than here. And I will show you something. This is Zimbabwe dollar. On this paper, or on this currency, is $100 trillion. Zimbabwe dollar, 100 trillion. It is probably worth about $15, $16 or $17. It will not buy in Zimbabwe 2 live fowls. Now, this is what Bola Tinubu has saved Nigeria from. If Bola Tinubu wanted to be popular and wanted to be, for him to be sang and all that, he would just go back and continue what was being done before, continue to print money until, God forbid, we approach this level. And, I have had people complain, which is legitimate, that dollar is 1,700. It could have been worse. It could have been 17,000. That fuel is 1,000. It could have been worse. It could have been 3,000 or 4,000 per liter. If these reforms had not been in place and has checked the escalating hyperinflation in which we entered into after Bola Tinubu's administration, it is wholesomely unfair.
Right.
And I'm almost tempted to say wicked for anybody to judge this administration after 18 months.
Well, can I say this?
Go and check the history of reformers.
Right. I think you've made some good points there, but the fact is, Dr. Okukpe, there is no debate, is there? The cost of living crisis is evidently happening. It's biting very hard. Manufacturing is collapsing. Foreign investors are not coming in, and those that are here are leaving because of a foreign exchange crunch, a lack of infrastructure such as electricity, which is also killing domestic industries. Poverty is growing. Economic losses are growing and have been growing for the last 9.5 years of an APC government. And all that is baked into the failure of the government's reform policies, because you need all those trends to be reversed for those policies to work, don't you? So there is no debate that this country's trajectory is a real and present danger to the survival and failure of Nigerians, and it's simply not clear where the government is going to find the leverage to change that. Go ahead.
Now, can I come in here,
yes.
Charles? You are on a wrong premise to be saying 9.5 years of APC government. I, Donyo Okukpe, when APC was formed, I publicly declared it, a conglomerate of strange bedfellows. I was laughed at, I was scorned by many people, but today it is quite, I saw it, today it is quite clear that APC was made up of various political fragments, CPC, ACN, APGA, etc., etc. And these were immiscible liquids. Yes, it is true that it is APC government, but in this country, we will have to be able to be more discerning. Bola Tinubu cannot be held responsible for the government before him. Yes, people have argued that he was the principal character that brought Buhari. When Buhari was brought up as a candidate, more than half of the population of Nigeria jubilated. So, we all assumed that, the general was going to do well. The Yoruba people say that, look, if the masquerade has already given birth to his child and the child cannot dance, that's the problem of the child, not the problem of the masquerade that birthed it. So, what you also said on the issue of manufacturing, on the issue of foreign direct investment and all that, recent events have proven that to be wrong. Today, the MBS came up with their report to show that there's a 3-point-something% growth in GDP. And the manufacturing that you mentioned was part and parcel of that growth. There was growth in the manufacturing sector in the last quarter of this year than previous year. And the foreign direct investment is also increasing. And let me tell you, I told you that Buhari printed 30 trillion, which attracted about 7 trillion interest. That 7 trillion interest had been paid by Bola Tinubu. The airlines were being owed about $7 billion. And it was, traveling by Nigerians will have been crippled, or Lagos, London will have come to something like 12 million naira for economy. But, this administration, in less than 1 year, has sorted that out. We must, these reforms that are in place are beginning to show signs of productivity. So, when you go into the generalization that 9.5 years, that is not true, that is not correct. Let us agree, let us be factual, let us know, that, okay, this is where this administration started, this is where they say they're going, this is how far they're going. And then we support the administration to achieve its objective, not to castigate and bring it down and demonize it.
Right. Well, I mean, maybe there should have been a government-issued pamphlet sent to Nigerians by the Tinubu administration advising people how to prepare and cope in the event of the economic crisis that they were unleashing on the Nigerian people. Maybe that might have helped, because the numbers that you're quoting means absolutely nothing.
The government is not unleashing...
Let me just make the point. The numbers you're quoting mean absolutely nothing for the tens of millions of Nigerians who've been pushed into extreme poverty, and for a lot of the people who are living on the street, walking down the streets, and a lot of people who are middle class who have been pushed into a lower income bracket. I mean, when you look at the growing restlessness in the north, which is what we started this discussion with, in the southeast, the Niger Delta, which have come out, some of their leaders, to say they're no longer going to associate with President Tinubu, and even parts of the southwest, one would be forgiven for thinking that this country is on the cusp of a major breakdown. What do you think can change that and get everyone to rally round the Tinubu government? If he's doing all these great things you say he's doing, why aren't people rallying around him?
Charles, the lifespan of an administration in the first instance is 4 years, is only 4 years. If you have had a rottenness that was unabated for more than 8 years, you think it can be fixed in 8 months? It cannot. I personally feel that whoever wanted to run for president after a Buhari administration, must have lost his mind. Because, why are we developing selective amnesia, especially we elites? We had a country that for 8 years was totally socially, economically, financially unattended to. And yet, in all those 8 years, there were no threats, there were no complaints, there was silence from everywhere. Everywhere was was in a state of acquiescence. Now, somebody else now takes over this rottenness, and before he can even sit down on the seat, you're saying that, you just mentioned now that, there's a lot of childhood restlessness, or youth restlessness in the North. The North has been having increasing number of out-of-school children, for the last 8 years, or for the last 9 years or more. Today, there are about 20 million out-of-school children. The Almajiri schools that President Goodluck Jonathan built were abandoned and discarded. Now, if those Almajiri schools have been allowed to absorb some of the students on the street, the restlessness and restiveness would not have been at this height. Now, can you, in all honesty, Charles, you're an honest man, can you, be true to yourself and to your conscience and say Bola Tinubu caused all this? That is not true. That is not correct. I was telling you that, we've got a reformer in the villa. somebody who is not desperate about power, who is not desperate about glamour, somebody who says, I have stepped out and I'm not going to step back.
Right.
I take responsibility
this,
and I'm going to try to reform.
Right.
I'm going to try to reform this country. And he's doing it.
Well, let me ask you this.
Lincoln Yu took 31 years to reform Singapore.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask you this, Dr. Okukpe, because you've said that, and I thank you for saying that I do try to be honest, and I would return the same compliment to you, that you also try to be honest. You are, beyond being a medical doctor, you're also an evangelist, so one would hope that you would be
honest
and straightforward. But wearing your hat, in that regard, wearing your hat as a former special advisor to two previous presidents, Olusegun Obasanjo and Goodluck Jonathan, do you think that in the wider context, opportunities and prospects for Nigerians have increased or decreased since that time?
Charles, I am a Christian, I'm an evangelist, and I am a witness for Christ. I am not going to stand here for any reason. I do not desire to be minister or commissioner or anything. So I have little to gain. My point is just that I want the country to move forward and to succeed. And I'm not rabidly opposed to the gentleman that is there right now. The truth of the matter is that opportunities have long gone, flown out of perspectives. It is now with the pillars that are being laid down that new opportunities are now being created. But do you want to talk about the children who could not go to school because their parents, did not have money? It will have been worse now because people cannot even feed. That means a lot more of our youth will not be able to enter university. Today, Bola Tinubu has made poverty not to be an issue or an excuse not to be educated. There's a loan fund which he promised in his agenda that he's going to do that is now operative. There are so many programs for the youth, and there are so many ways of. There are so many plans to finance them that is currently going on. It will take time. I know Nigerians are paying. I know, they say T-pain, which means Tinubu pain. But the truth of the matter is that it's not Tinubu pain. It is temporary pain for permanent gain. When there's a reform that is going on, there's nowhere any reform takes place that there are no temporary pains. And, if there are no pains, there are no gains. We must all go through. I remember very well when Ikorodu Road was being constructed. My late brother, Idowu Okukpe, used to live in Okukpe Estate. He got home every day, and his children, he got home at 1:30 a.m., 2:30 a.m. They suffered. It's not just him as a family. Many people on that axis suffered. But today, we drive to the Ikorodu Road in 12 minutes, in 10 minutes, in 20 seconds. A generation paid and suffered for that construction that was done in Metropolis at that time. So, a generation will have to go through some temporary pain so that, generations coming behind and even those who are still alive can enjoy a much more permanent gain. This opposition mantra, the problem with the Bola Tinubu is this. During the election, let me just land, very briefly. During the election, we had 4 major candidates. When you have strong candidates like that, it is difficult to amass enough votes to be able to have a majority. The Bola Tinubu administration came in with about 35, 36, 37% total votes. So those who are in opposition, who have lost, who are Africans by nature, who are bad losers, are those who are fanning this ember of criticism, of not doing well, of saying that, he has abandoned us. Elections are over, Charles. Nigerians must go back and let us look at governance. Let us critically, on bias and on prejudice, look at what work is being done.
Right. Okay. Well. Just I want to thank you very much indeed for joining us. Always brilliant talking with you. There are a lot of things I wanted to discuss with you, but I think we've kind of exhausted the time. But before we go, let me just make this point very quickly. I'm just getting a text from a very well-respected Nigerian economist who doesn't take any political sides, and it's a female, by the way. She is saying the numbers are clear. Tinubu's macroeconomic numbers are worse, period. Numbers don't lie. Things are getting worse, and the macroeconomic numbers don't support Donye Okukpe's claims. Unfortunately, you won't have the time to respond to that.
I disagree.
You want to?
I
That's
disagree,
fine.
and
It's
I have
fine
an
that you
idea of who you are
disagree.
talking about.
It's fine that you disagree.
It's intellectual fraud.
We will have to leave
intellectual
that.
fraud.
We'll have to leave
to
that
say
for
that
another day.
it's intellectual fraud.
Right. I want to thank you.
I don't believe that, and it is not correct. It's
Okay. Well, you've made that point.
It's part of the gang up and conspiracy.
Right. Okay. You've made that point. I want to thank you very much indeed. But it's always brilliant talking with you, because I have to say that you're extremely good at articulating your thoughts in a way that it can be understood by everybody.
You know, you listen to doing Okukpe. Everything you just said now, every Nigerians will disagree with you except APC members, the real members of APC, not just those people on the street who voted for APC because of money. Do you understand? So aside from that, every Nigerians will disagree with you doing Okukpe, just like this woman said that everything you said is just a lie. They are not true. We should disregard everything you said. That is an economist person there. You are not an economist. All the figures you pointed out, the figures, everything you said, the numbers are not true. Thank God. I even like what Charles said, the way the Charles put it out to you there. Yeah, that's it. I like that. So the figures, it doesn't matter to Nigerians. We are not saying those. It doesn't count. It doesn't matter. As far as Nigerians cannot feed themselves, we don't know how long this reform is going to take. Yes, every countries that have reformed their country, every reformer, I know it takes time, but why they are doing that reform, you could see the directions, what the persons is, what they are doing, those countries who have reformed their country successfully. But in this government, there is no directions. There is no country that will reform their country like this and succeed in the near future. What you said now, if there is any directions that this country is going to be reformed, that the generation after this, or even this generation, will enjoy the benefit of this reform, it would have been better. But in this case, it is not so. So when somebody do not have integrity, this is what you get. Because this man has lost his integrity in the eyes of Nigerians because of what he's saying now, what he has decided to do. When anybody who do not have any integrity, that's what you get. They can't do, they owe nobody any apology. They are not apologetic to anything. They are entitled to their own opinion. They can decide to join any political party they decided to join. They owe nobody apology. They can decide to speak for you, speak against you any given fucking time. This is what this man is doing. So everything you said does not in any way put hope in the eyes of Nigerians. As far as these Nigerians are not able to feed themselves, you throw more your government, throw more people into poverty. No. When you talk about the loan, Tinubu is giving loan. Where how many people have successfully taken that loan? It is even better not to take the loan than to take the loan, because it's still going to be a problem for whoever taking that loan late now or later. It's still going to be a problem for them. Where is the job after your school that you are going to use to pay the loan? Every other countries that are giving loans to students after graduations, there is opportunity, 80% opportunity for them that they are going to get a job. They are going to pay back. Do you understand? It's easy and simple. And when you're talking about the loans, the loan is only for the university. It's just for the universities, not for secondary school, primary schools. The parents are not able to pay children school fees, primary school to secondary school level. Anybody who does not pass through primary, secondary school, how will he get to the university? It's not possible. Definitely, many people are not going to take the loan. Do you understand? So people are already dropping out of school. You are saying it's not Tinubu that brought this pain. You are still talking about how many government, APC government has damaged this country, has done the worst to the Nigerian people. Simple as that, period. Everything you said, personally, my opinion, I disagree with you, because I have not seen the effect of this reform in the lives of Nigerians. So that woman said it, that everything you said, Nigerians should disregard it, that it is not true. So you are just saying that because everything you said now, you said Nigerians are feeling. The only person who is not angry or who is still thinking that Tinubu is doing well is they are just the APC members. The APC members, the candidates of APC, those are the only people. When you say that you talk about those people who are criticizing this government are those people who lost the election. Mind you, okay, those people who lost the election, Tinubu did not win any election in Nigeria. So election has come and the election has gone, but those people are not the one. Don't think about the presidential candidate who lost the election are the one fueling this anger. No, you don't need to tell. A madman was complaining the other day that how much he used to buy bread. The madman does not belong to any political party. When the madman said he went to a shop to buy bread today, they told him that it was a 700. The following day, he went back, the price increased. Following day, he went back. The madman was angry. He was angry that he decided to do a video. That man does not belong to any political party. Do you understand? So that's just the only person who could say now that this government is doing well. Let's give hope. Like I said, are the APC members. APC members. And every Nigerians, there are some Nigerians who does not even belong. They are neutral. They does not belong to any political party. For you to say because they are APC, they are PDP or Labour Party. Some people are not. You talk about the three major candidates. You are talking about PDP and Peter Obi now. So we members are there, Kwankwaso members are there, SDP members are there. Everybody in this country disagree with your government. They fed up. The country is going down. Damage this country for no reason. You are there speaking, talking about figures. Anyways, this is what you get. Please, what do you think? Share this video and leave your comment about doing Okukpe.